you talk good for a 22-year-old, eh?
You reckon?
Yeah, fucking oath.
Nah.
Usually when I was 22, I was like, yeah, bro, I'll be talking like bad shit.
I'll give it a crack.
Yeah, no, that's good, bro. It's good. You ready to go, bros? We've got the shisha man in town, future shisha. Soon he won't be too good for the podcast for the goat, and then he'll be on to Mike Boris. So it's good that we've got him early. Broke his virginity in the podcast, and he's gonna make it big, eh? No, it's right. So yeah, so ready to go, bro? You want them? Well, put that just in case, bro.
Yeah.
Ready to go? Yep, sweet. Alright, 3, 2, 1. Alright, that's for you, Jaron. G'day everyone, welcome to the Go Podcast. Today we're at episode 9. We have Matthew here. He runs a shisha business, and yeah, we've got to basically get into that and bounce off each other and go from there. Matthew, appreciate doing this, bro.
Thanks for having me on, bro.
All good, bros. So where did we'll just go straight into it. So where did it all start from? From basically, you're 22 now?
I'm 22 now, yeah.
Freak, man, it's young, bro.
Bro.
So it's a story, bro. So where did it all start? Where did this idea come from and go from there?
Yeah, so I was just over 18 years old when I started.
Yeah.
Actually, I started it with a friend of mine, and straight out of high school, finished year 12, first year of uni.
Which school was that?
I actually graduated from St. Paul's. It's in Greystanes.
St. Paul's.
Yeah,
Shout out St. Paul's.
Yeah,
Shout out.
I went to Marist as well, actually, to about year 9.
Oh yeah.
Switched over, yeah. So I ended up with a mate from both schools, but from my mate that I started with, we were actually schoolmates.
Yeah.
From my previous school. So 2 schoolmates, we started it. First year in uni, I was actually doing real estate at the time as well. So I was a real estate agent for about 2 years. I was doing uni, I was doing real estate, and I started the business as well.
Okay.
So I had a bit on my plate at the time when I started.
As an 18-year-old.
Yeah, I was just fresh 18. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's good.
So now I've had the business for about 4 years.
Yep.
And at the beginning, I'm just on my own owning it now. But when I started, it was with a mate. Thankfully, that didn't come to like a bad end. Very amicable. He was one of my best mates.
Yeah.
When we started it, but we ended up parting ways after about a year and a half.
Yeah.
You know, it was very intense at the start because it's a 7-day business.
Yeah.
And apart from all of the operating hours, there's a lot of things that need to be done outside of the operating hours too.
Yeah.
You got to be very organised. You got to buy stock. You got to organise the roster.
Before we get into that, where did the idea actually come from? If that makes sense.
Yeah.
The idea. The idea itself. So you were 18, fresh out of school.
Yeah.
You guys are obviously in that position where you're like, oh, what do we do after school? You obviously talk about university. So after you, obviously throughout university, then you go, we got to get the shisha with your mate, get that all sorted. Where did the actual idea come from, if that makes sense?
So shisha delivery in general, it actually already exists. So
okay, so it already exists. I thought you were.
It exists in Lebanon.
Oh.
Yeah. Alright.
Yeah.
In Lebanon.
And you're obviously Lebanese too.
I'm Lebanese.
Lebanese the same. Okay.
Yeah, it exists in Lebanon. It exists in other Arab countries as well, but being Lebanese, we knew it existed.
Yeah.
It existed overseas, and there was, I think, 1 or 2 companies that had done it here. So we didn't necessarily create the idea, but what we did, we improved the way that the business operated. There was people doing it. We didn't think that they did it to crash hot, and we thought we could do it better.
So you saw holes in the game and you thought that was your opportunity, and then you sort of capitalised on that.
We saw an opportunity, 100%. So we were sitting around smoking for like 2 months. We smoked shisha every day.
Yeah, not weed, not the other stuff, or?
No, not weed. Yeah, so we smoked every day, and when it came to probably 2 months in, my mate looked at me and he's like, bro, we should be delivering this stuff.
Yeah.
You know, and typical, like, when you're young, you're naive, and
it works sometimes.
It works sometimes.
It works sometimes.
And it worked in this case, so we get the calculator out and start doing the numbers. That's how the business idea usually starts. That's how it usually starts. And we got excited, you know what I mean? One thing led to another, and we sort of just fell into it, not really knowing what we're committing to.
Yeah.
Which was like good in the long run, but yeah, we had no idea, you know what I mean?
And you obviously at 18, you're probably still living at home with your parents.
100%, yeah.
A lot of risks, like you can afford to take a lot of risks.
Definitely.
Obviously, people who start these kind of small businesses on their own in the start, you've obviously got mortgages, you've got stress, your kids, you've got other sort of things to take in consideration. But you guys, 18, man, world's your oyster basically. You can do whatever,
100%.
risk anything.
Yeah, we could fail if we wanted to.
Yeah.
Stress, still got to sleep in my bed.
Yeah, so you and your mate came up with the idea. You guys were smoking for a bit.
Yeah.
After that, so when did you guys start to actually go, you know what, let's just take it serious? Like, did you have to, where did the funding come from, or how did you guys work out that, if that makes sense?
So we funded it ourselves. We went 50-50. We actually started that business, I think from memory, was in total about $2.5 grand.
Yeah.
So it was from the ground up. And slowly we reinvested back into the business over time. And we did reinvest for a long time actually.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure for the first year we wouldn't have taken any profit or paid ourselves much at all.
Yeah.
I don't think we paid ourselves anything whatsoever.
Were you guys working between that?
Yeah, so we were working separately. We both had full-time jobs. So I was a real estate agent.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and my partner was working in a construction company.
Okay.
Like office-based and
Yeah.
and site-based as well, actually. Like sort of a project management role.
Yeah.
So we both had full-time jobs. We weren't relying on that income to support ourselves, which was really good as well.
Yeah.
So it took the pressure off. And basically, after about a year of reinvesting, then we could really, we started to maybe take a little bit.
Yeah.
But I think, so what happened was, if you want me to get into like sort of the obstacles that we had.
Oh, please, you can talk whatever you want, bro. It's a podcast, right?
So
it's all yours.
At the start, I think we were doing a lot of hours, right? 7 days a week. We would have been doing easy 12-hour days.
12 hours based on your business, Shisha, or plus
No,
your
just shisha. Like
just shisha
in total, we would have been doing like huge days because we'd work all night, but like we'd have to pop out during work to go and do things, blah blah blah. On the weekends, we'd be doing longer than 12-hour days. You know what I mean? So it would have averaged out. Maybe give or take, you know what I mean? Weekends, it was like from the moment we wake up to the moment we went to sleep, it was go time.
It just amazes me, like what you're talking about, like, you know, more than 12 hours a day on the weekends, but even throughout the weekdays. I don't understand how who's ordering these shishas throughout the week. It's funny. Yeah, I personally don't know much about it, so obviously, you know, it's good that you're here, but who's ordering them throughout the week, if that makes sense?
That's a good question, actually. So we're open 7 days, we get orders every day.
Yeah.
And it's sort of, just imagine it like pizza delivery, but for the Arab world.
Yeah, fair enough, yeah.
Right, so like a lot of Arabs like
Makes
to go
sense.
out during the week and go to restaurants and smoke shisha and eat. But people, the same thing, like doesn't change the fact that they still want to smoke shisha during the week.
Yeah.
Instead of going out to a restaurant, they just order it and get it delivered at home.
Nice.
Yeah.
And that was probably, that's where you probably saw the opportunity. People
100%.
knowing what they wanted, but didn't have to go out, but you come sort of a supply and demand type technique.
The main thing that we based it off is that people more and more were wanting convenience, and we saw that at the time.
Yeah.
And that we knew that people were loving delivery, and it was just an up and coming trend that we thought was here to stay.
Yeah.
So that's what we saw. 100% it was convenience that we saw more than anything.
Yeah, for sure. Because obviously supply and demand is a point of difference for any sort of business, and you guys are obviously offering something like that. And obviously taking the technique from, like you said, it wasn't, you didn't come up with the idea, but obviously Lebanon had that sort of, you know, sort of that structure and stuff, and then you just implemented it in Australia. Now you're kicking off. So do you have any, in saying that, was any obstacle, going back to your obstacles, was there any, I wouldn't say rivalry, but was there any other like companies in Australia doing that, or any, like doing exactly what you're doing?
There was, yeah. So when we started, I think there was one or two.
Yep.
I don't think that anyone was doing it completely full-time dedicated.
Yeah.
So it was more of a side thing, like it was for us anyway when we started.
Yep.
It was more of a side thing for everybody. Everyone was trying to make a bit of a dollar, as you do.
Yeah.
And what happened was we just saw that. So basically, we saw flaws in the way that they operated, and they were a bit disorganized and whatnot. And we came up with a whole bunch of ideas where we thought we could do it better.
And what age did you guys were sort of brainstorming, if they make at that time?
18, yeah.
From 18.
Yeah, from when we started brainstorming about it,
yeah,
and to actually launching the business was just about 2 months.
Fuck.
We didn't waste much time.
I actually feel dumb now, because when I was 18, I'm telling you this now, there was no such thing as brainstorming. There was, I wasn't being dumb, but it's good.
Everyone has their own time.
No, yeah, but yeah, it's definitely, you guys are doing good for yourself. So, so after that, 18, you're brainstorming stuff. You saw a bit of holes in other people's game. What was other sort of obstacles in your way besides a rival or anything else?
In the first year, the main obstacles that we faced a lot of profit-based obstacles because the business is very labor intensive, and you need a lot of labor to do good numbers. And at the time, especially starting out, it's a type of business where you need to be doing volume to be making money. So you got to break even, you got to hit it, and you really need to do volume for it to be worth your while. Worth your while. And in the start, I don't think we had fully wrapped our heads around that yet, because we had never done business before. I don't think we really had anyone to really mentor us at the start and show us the way through. So having a mentor like that at the beginning can really save you a lot of time and money. But yeah, so we had some issues with profit and it being worth our while, because as I said, we were doing massive hours every week on top of our job. So there was a massive demand of workload. All we did was work between me and my partner, and it became very exhausting after about a year, and especially not taking profit. We didn't really have anything to show for it at the start, and we were just reinvesting into the business. And that can become exhausting. It can burn you out a little bit.
I think it's also psyche too, because like obviously you've done it, you work your ass off like technically for 12 months, and then you don't see a sort of return, and it sort of plays with you that, you know, minus or maybe at the zero mark. But usually with every small business, they already make a profit after 3 years.
100%.
And a lot of business, or statistically, they say within the first 3 years is where you don't really see the profit until after you. Third year. So obviously what you guys are doing, hanging in there and sort of getting with the grind, you're reaping what you're sort of talking about. We'll get to that anyway, but for sure. So like you're saying, you were talking about having a mentor, but I feel like at the same time, I don't think you did need one, because, I mean, it would have helped you structure wise or whatever, but I feel like sometimes too, mentors can sort of not put you off, but sort of make you hesitate whether is this the right decision? Because if you had a mentor who you looked up to and he said, look, you got to be watching this, and then you got to cross your teeth, like your eyes. Like you said, you're living at home, you're 18 years old, you've got, you know, your whole life to live. But if you had a mentor who said, oh, maybe you watch that out, you probably would have hesitated to go to the next step, where usually when you're 18, you just do whatever.
That's what happened, yeah.
So yeah, well, that's what happened, exactly, which is probably good, if that makes sense.
Good, yeah, we could appreciate that more actually.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So that's probably a different sort of an outlook. But yeah, so going forward from there, so you obviously hit some obstacles and stuff like that. So after that, so 18, so around about 19, did you start seeing profit from then, or was it still investing back into the business?
We invested for a while, honestly. We could have probably taken sooner. We did take profit, but you wouldn't say it was worth the hours that we're putting in. So
in saying that, so talking about your profit, talking about your margins and stuff,
yeah.
Did you have an accountant helping you at that time, or was it just you two literally on your own?
Yeah, so what actually happened was, funny that you say that. So we sat down with my partner's accountant one day, and he sat down, he asked us a bunch of questions about how many hours we're putting in each week. Because the thing is, we didn't take any days off. We weren't organised enough to sort of say, all right, this day's your day off and this day's my day off. We were very naive, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we worked 7 days every day, side by side, we did everything together.
Yeah, nice.
Which was good, so it was very well executed, but exhausting at the same time, right? Sat down with the accountant, and he asked us, how many hours are you working a week? How much are you making? Very simple. And he said, basically, he worked it out, and he goes that, look, at this rate, and how much time you are investing, you are making about $14 an hour each. You may as well go work at McDonald's. I was after a year and a half.
After a year and a half,
yeah.
Once you break down the margins and stuff.
100%. Not including just the business hours and whatever, but all the extra hours that we had to put in of doing things out of hours and blah, blah, blah.
So he's calculated from what you guys are getting, like what's coming in and what's going out. This is what you're basically worth.
100%. He said you may as well go work at McDonald's.
So what did you guys do after? How did you guys take that?
Well, it was a reality check.
Yeah.
A very good reality check.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to lie to yourself. You end up wasting a lot of time. And basically, that was also because we were splitting it between the two of us as well.
Yeah.
And we were still small. And I don't think that we had it in mind to be waiting 3 years to make profit. We weren't of that understanding at the time.
Okay.
So it was demotivating for us. Thinking about, it's been a year and a half, and we're not seeing much. You know what I mean? We had seen, but not seeing, you know, the huge amount that we hoped that we would have at the start when we had that calculator out.
Yeah.
Do you know what
I
I
know
mean?
you say.
Yeah.
So okay, so after that, you sort of got the reality check. Did you guys sort of talk about it and say maybe this is not for us, or did you guys ever had doubt in that situation?
We definitely had a big period of that. I think about a period of 6 months.
Yeah.
We tried selling it. We thought about stopping it completely and just closing it down. There was one point we were like, we should just close it.
Yeah.
Because we were just so exhausted. Because you got to remember, on top of all of this,
you were still working.
Still working, and at uni, both of us full time.
Oh, man,
you had up late.
18 years old, 19 years old.
Yeah.
Technically two jobs, putting all those hours in. When did you sleep?
No, we slept.
You slept, yeah.
We slept. But every waking hour we were working or studying.
Okay, so you guys went from basically that reality check with this accountant. So what did you change? Like, any models did you change, or was there something you changed in maybe your logistics, or was there anything you changed for you guys to sort of move up from there?
So what happened was, after that, probably a couple of months after, I can't remember exactly.
Yeah.
I could see that, like, I was getting burnt out myself. I could see my partner was really getting burnt out as well. And you know, I thought it was something that we were avoiding for a little bit, discussing and whatever. And it seemed like he wasn't happy at all in that business anymore at that time. And at the end of the day, we were friends first, you know. So
100%. I like you said that.
Yeah. So
yeah.
I sent him a text one day, and I said to him, "Look, I can see that you're really like demotivated, and it doesn't look like you're really enjoying this. I don't want you to be doing something that you're not enjoying, or if you hate it. Let's sit down, let's talk about it, and let's work something out. You know what I mean? If you don't want to do this, if it's making you miserable, then let's sort it out. You know what I mean? So we did. We sat down one night and we talked it out, and we said, look, 1, 2, 3. This is how I feel. This is how you feel, and we came to an agreement about parting ways. So he wanted to step out of the business after about a year and a half.
So about a year and a half, and then you sort of took the ball up and ran it from there on.
Yeah.
So after going through that situation, from there, did you change anything in order for it to get to where it is now? Like, what was the changes you made yourself? Because you're on your own now.
I did make some changes. The biggest change that I made is that in the first year and a half, we didn't really put too much effort into marketing. We did a little bit of marketing, but I remember we didn't use to market very often.
Yeah. Is it because of funds or?
No, not really, because we did everything organically, like through Instagram and whatnot. So,
perfect. Be like this podcast, guys.
Yeah.
Get everything organically.
That's what we want.
Yeah.
But yeah, so when I took the reins myself, I put a lot of effort into marketing. I really wanted to. I had ideas of expanding. So we have a radius.
Yeah.
From Parramatta to rough radius of about 25 minutes.
Yeah.
In a circle, for example.
Yeah.
And I wanted to expand to a separate area, to like the Bankstown, Strathfield, right areas that we didn't touch yet. Yeah. So that was my goal. So after we parted, I thought, this is my goal now. I'm going to expand into that new radius, a second radius.
Yeah.
So I want to try and double up on what we're doing, and hit that volume that we need to hit to be able to be more profitable. So I put a lot of effort into marketing. I really pumped up my current radius that I was operating, and I started to look forward to expanding into the new radius.
Yeah.
So within about 3 to 6 months of me being on my own, I expanded into that new radius. So I doubled up our radius.
And within a period of what again? Sorry.
Within 3 to 6 months of
3 to 6 months.
Yeah. So immediately after I started chasing it.
Yeah.
I think it would have been about 3 months straight away. I started chasing extension.
Yeah. So after you changed it, did you sort of like how did you work out, maybe I need to take the marketing side rather than going the labour side with things, which you guys were pumping for a year and a half? Did you go, oh wait a minute, I need to sort of change something? What made you go to the marketing, going, I need to put more focus on the marketing side? What made you do that? Was it a book you read, someone you talked to, or was it just you yourself, you sort of worked it out yourself, if that makes sense?
Well, I thought that we were really underutilising our capacity. Like, we weren't at capacity.
Yeah.
We could have done, for example, Monday to Thursday, we would have had a couple of drivers on, for example, and those drivers were for half the night cleaning the shishas and standing around.
So you've started to basically employ people into the company or the business. After you made parted ways or during?
No, we always had drivers.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay, sweet. So
we were managing ourselves.
Yeah, okay. So you were managing plus, and you're helping the boys load up the trucks, and basically you guys go from there.
That's right.
So how many guys do you have running for you? At that time.
At that time, in total we would have had about like say 5 or 6 in total, but not all full time.
Yeah, okay, but yeah, you've had certain people like helping you guys with the logistics. I'm assuming.
Like all drivers.
Yeah, all drivers with the delivery. Yeah.
For example, like on a weekend we'd have 4 drivers in one night.
Yeah.
Like on a Friday or Saturday.
So it sort of takes a team to do what you're doing.
It does, definitely.
So you wouldn't be able to do it physically on your own.
Impossible.
Freak, man, how many people want shishas, man?
Yeah, too many.
Too many people, man. How many hours in New South Wales? So yeah, man. So like after that, okay, so you're attacking another area which you sort of set your goal to, and it was within 3 to 6 months. Did that sort of bring sort of more headaches into the mix? Like,
plenty more.
You know, obviously the bigger you are, the more headaches it comes with. So what type of obstacles did you have to face through that? Because you're on your own now.
Yeah. So what I did. So when we started, I should probably point this out. We started out of my garage. Full garage operation. You know what I mean? When I expanded, shout out to the garage.
Yeah, shout out to the garage.
Great business and stuff in the garage.
Yeah.
Or the bedroom upstairs. What we did, I went and hired a shop in Strathfield.
Okay.
Which was in the centre of the radius where I wanted to target.
Yeah. And
I didn't open up the shop front. I just used it as a base of operations. It had parking at the back, old crappy shop.
Or it's just more of a factory where you can stop.
Sort of, yeah.
Sort of a stop.
It was a horrible decision.
Yeah. Okay, we'll get this. Yeah.
It was a horrible decision to do what I did, but it ended up sort of working.
Yeah.
So what I did, I actually split myself between my home base and the shop base, and I had 2 places to operate from now. Yeah. Rather than the one. So I had to learn really quickly how to operate 2 places, or how to operate without actually being there, because I couldn't be in 2 places at once. Yeah, yeah. In a way, it was a blessing because it taught me very valuable skills to be able to operate without being there. Yeah. Because from day one, I really had in mind automation.
Automation was
like systemizing the business, being able to be self-sufficient to help me there.
Yeah,
that was always fun of mine. I read a book for that.
Yeah, well, I was about to say, business, like what I got taught once, and I never sort of
Never sort of understood that sort of model what you're just talking about. But a business is basically, I got told once upon a time, if you run a business and you can take yourself out of it for 3 or 6 months and the business is still running, it's running on its full on its own, that's a business.
Gotcha.
So basically that's what I was got taught. I never understood that until not that long ago, about a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
I didn't understand that. So obviously when you're starting, you're on your own, you want to be everywhere. But when you start to let go of that, start to think about the bigger picture, that's when you sort of have that sort of mindset, if that makes sense.
I understand, yeah.
So what challenges came with that? Or what did you learn from actually? What did you learn from making, like, basically not being there managing it?
Yeah, got you. The biggest thing that I learned is that I didn't do my numbers going into opening up another shop. So the overheads really blew out when I opened up a new shop. Because reason being, if we were to operate from one place, I don't need to outlay wages for one manager and for one place to rent from, for example. But I doubled up. I had to get a separate manager to operate from the other shop, and I had to pay a second load of overheads of rent, of electricity, of water, and whatnot. You know what I mean? So it was actually inefficient.
Yeah.
But it taught me to do my numbers and really look into something before you make a commitment, like entering into a lease, for example. You know what I mean?
Of course. So obviously you've learned that basically you're doubling up on your overheads rather than your profits. So you're biting into your profits. Obviously, getting another store, getting another place, hiring another manager.
Absolutely.
Could you have basically done all that with that area, but still out of your garage? So you're still working out of one.
No, we couldn't.
We couldn't. Okay.
But we can now. We'll get to that later.
Okay. Yeah. So back then you couldn't.
No, unless we had thought of what we thought of now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we figured out a way to solve that problem.
Oh, okay. So yeah. So what, that was 19. So right about. So where we at? 19.
Still 19 when I get the shop.
So you're still 19 when you got the shop down at Strathfield?
Yeah.
So you learned that basically I didn't need to get that shop, I didn't need to have that thing. So after that, what happened after that then?
We spent about a year in the shop. I intentionally took a short-term lease. It was only 1 year when I
Nice.
started.
Imagine if you got a 3 year.
No way, I knew straight away.
Yeah.
Real estate experience came in handy. I knew that, 100%.
Perfect, right. Real estate help came,
100%, yeah.
So obviously with all these leasing, you see all these leasing shops now, like we see them, they're all full lease.
Crazy, yeah.
It's crazy, it's all dropping, isn't it? Everyone's working out of their homes now.
I swear. Yeah,
I know.
people are really watching what they're spending on their business.
I know, bro, I don't know. People, like maybe, actually in your opinion, in your experience, would you say basically, because obviously there's different type of real estate to invest in, would you say commercial real estate is probably a downfall or right now?
Right now, you mean?
Yes.
That's
Or
a tough one.
is that a tough one?
Do you know,
Commercial investments.
the issue that people are talking about at the moment, and obviously it's all speculation,
Yeah.
but the issue that people are talking about is that, especially with offices, people are going to be more inclined, and businesses are going to be more inclined to employ people to work from home.
Yeah, because you're saving money.
They're saving money. Instead of getting, like, for example, Mark Bruce was talking about, he pays a lot of money for 2 floors in one of the most expensive towers in the city for his business, Yellow Brick Road.
And it's empty.
And he said that if he was to turn 2 floors into 1 floor and half of his staff were to work from home and they rotate, he'd save millions of dollars every year, right? So now it's opened up a lot of people's eyes. That's the issue with commercial. So commercial offices is a bit volatile at the moment.
Yep.
And obviously retail or commercial, like your shops, brick and mortar shops, that's threatened by online, and it has been for a couple of years now. So, it depends on which way you want to go about it. That's my opinion. So I think that commercial at the moment is a bit volatile.
Yeah.
But there's still potential in if you if you do your research, if you do your numbers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I just wanted to know if it's I'm just thinking this is sort of a bit of bro science into it, but there's no studies into it. But I just wanted I'll probably be assuming or probably leaning towards maybe tax purposes. That's why they have these leased, and that's why they have them leased for that sort of reason.
Yeah.
But you sort of save time on commuting anyway. Guys don't have to spend an hour there, hour back home. You can spend those 2 hours at actually being, with productivity, for the companies. So you know what I mean. Rather than spend an hour there, an hour back, you can spend it, hour more in your like PJs and just still work from there, and it's more comfortable. You don't have to travel, you don't have to wait in traffic, you don't have to spend money on tolls, you don't have to spend money on travelling. Just literally out of home, you just sort of get your task, you get your run sheet, and do it from there.
That's
Happy
it.
days. But that's just my opinion, so don't listen to me, guys. But yeah, I'm just assuming, obviously. But so going from that store there, so you leased it out for a year. What happens after that?
So after 1 year, we came up with a solution, me and my brother.
So is your brother in the business now? Or?
Yeah, my brother has been with me for a little bit. So my brother used to be an accountant, and because you were saying
these Lebanese are all connected, aren't they? Some way or another. Someone's doing something. That's good.
Used to be an accountant.
Yeah.
And I think that after 1 year of me being in that shop, it took a bit of a toll on me because it really hit our profitability. So I would have, it took a bit of a toll on me, on my confidence and whatnot. And my brother sort of stepped in to help me out.
Yeah.
And it made a huge difference in the direction of the business. So we came up with an idea where we buy vans, and because what we used to do before, it's like, for example, like Uber Eats, you make the order and a driver comes and takes it.
Yeah.
Right. What we came up with is that we'd be way more efficient if we had a purpose fit out in a van where all the shishas and everything that's needed for the night is stocked up in the van, and the driver comes, we load them up at the beginning of the night, and they go and they don't come back to the end. We have an app that we work off, so we assign them the order to their app.
Yeah.
They make it, like they've got it there, they've got all the flavours and everything inside the van, like a kitchen bench and holders for all the flavours and whatnot.
Yeah.
They make it, they go directly to the order, and then from that order, instead of returning back to the base, they go directly to the next order.
Yeah.
And that's way more efficient.
And it's not like it's food or anything where it can get cold or anything. It's
That's
literally,
right, no.
it's nothing to
It
do
stays
with it.
out, it stays out
stays out.
anyway.
So you're definitely winning in that sort of sector.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
So what we did was we sent those vans. We did those vans.
Nice.
And we sent those vans to the Strathfield radius now. So we didn't need to hire that shop anymore, and we could reduce from 2 managers to 1.
Nice.
You know what I mean?
And who came up with that? Your brother came up with that
He
sort
came,
of structure, or was it
he
you?
came up with the van concept, but
Yeah.
I realised that
More cost efficient.
that would have been way more cost efficient. Like I saw the light in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for
But
sure.
yeah, 100%. Like he was pushing me to do it for a while, and I was like hesitant because
Yeah.
I was already deep into the shop.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I had committed and I had my mindset on that. He sort of changed my mind on that. So like 100%.
Yeah.
He pushed me in the
It's
right
definitely, so obviously you just encouraged you. That was sort of the mentor you were talking about, someone who could sort of come with a bit of experience. Is he older?
He's older, yeah, he's older.
There you go. So
Yeah.
so he probably had sort of something different, and you guys applied it together and sort of came up with two things. And
100%, yeah.
it's like, so man, that's definitely a good idea. Like, freak, man. Like, I definitely got something out of that. But so you got your drivers, you got your vans. So now you realise I don't have to lease any shops. I don't have to buy anything. You basically everything's coming straight out of the garage.
Yeah.
Is that how it's working now?
No. So now we've got a little warehouse.
Oh, you got a warehouse
Yeah.
now.
So we moved it out of home.
Yep.
Probably.
Your parents are probably happy about that now. Or?
I'm happy about that too.
You're happy about that too. Yeah.
Well, that's another story.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't enjoy operating it from home.
Why is that? Is it because it's just too much stuff in the
You got no
garage?
privacy. It's very mentally exhausting. You can't get away from the business.
Yeah.
It's always in front of you.
Yeah.
You come home, it's there. There's workers. Sometimes you need downtime. You need nights off.
Okay.
Especially after 2-3 years of working 7 days a week.
Yeah.
You don't really want it to be in front of you every day.
I know what you're
You
saying.
know what I mean? So it became
Yeah.
very mentally exhausting, and we had a lot of employees as well. So towards the end, we would have had like 12 employees
Guys coming in their house to the house.
constantly, and like you're talking every single night till 10-11 o'clock at night.
Who's buying these? Like, you sort of like have an idea of who's sort of getting it, or is it like?
Yeah, of course.
So obviously a lot of Arabs are obviously hiring it or however it works and stuff. But you start seeing different nationalities. Do you start seeing it as a trend where I notice a lot of my mates have started to do it now. Like a lot of people started getting their shisha, but it's not just Arabs now. I see like a couple of islanders now just smoking it and stuff and having a meal and stuff like that. So have you seen that dramatic change with different sort of cultures sort of accepting it and using
100%.
it too?
Yeah, we really tried to push those boundaries because at the start it was only Arabs.
Yeah.
When we started, the shisha delivery industry wasn't really an industry at all.
Yeah, and that's
down.
that's what I was about to say. Back in my day, like shisha, what's that? You know
Yeah,
what I mean? It was only
It
for
wasn't very prevalent.
No,
when
it
we
wasn't.
started, we were like, as we started, I don't know if we were responsible for it or if there was others, but we really started a big trend.
what started? Like, what made it sort of mainstream? Yeah, I think it was the restaurants, those Lebanese restaurants.
They've had them for a while, but
Oh, okay.
I think it became more, what do you say, like, it was in front of people's eyes, people started to really jump on it.
Yeah.
I don't know how to explain it. You know what you can compare it to? You can see how a lot of females have makeup businesses.
Yes.
Yeah, they have like it's like the sort of low cost, low barrier to entry business you
Yeah.
can start.
You started like at home. and
That's
stuff.
what sort of started to happen with shisha delivery because you didn't need to rent a place, you didn't need to go fit out. You just like we started at 2.5 grand.
Yeah.
You need to work for a week or two, save
Yeah.
up a bit of money, you can go start this business.
Oh,
So that's
okay.
so then a lot of people started to open up this business.
Yeah.
And because there was like it really like overnight we went from 3 and now there would be at least 100, for example, of delivery businesses only.
So what's the volume like? So from there to now, what would you say the volume? How much? What's the percentage of like how many deliveries you do compared to from the start? So say if you started with 10, how much
Yeah.
would you say the volume is at now?
Are you talking about like 10 shishas?
Yeah, 10 sheets.
Okay.
How much were you doing in a week? Like just on average,
Back then or
back
now?
then from where you start.
Back then I don't know because that's one thing we didn't do. We
Didn't calculate.
didn't calculate anything.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was like We count the
But
money.
it's okay. Has it grown? Has it grown?
So we've had year-on-year growth every year.
every year's
single
grown.
year we've had year-on-year growth.
So
I'll backtrack now and calculate a little.
yeah. Oh yeah. So compared to when you started to now, there's obviously a higher volume.
100%, yeah, much higher. Yeah.
And there's more of a demand for it.
Definitely.
So how would you go about from there to now?
Yep.
So what's the biggest thing you've actually had to learn from besides all the stuff we talked about? Was there anything else you've learned, or was it just learning on the way? Obviously, you're still learning as you're going.
100%.
Is there something like that you want to implement or you want to talk about, like where you're going? We probably look at like you have your forecast like a year from now to see where you guys want to go from, or
yeah, I'm still tied up about what I want to do in the future with the business.
Yep.
Obviously, when you own the business, you look at all avenues. Like we've looked at selling, we've looked at keeping it.
Yep.
So at the moment, it's pretty self-automated. So
Yep.
I don't I've got managers in place, drivers in place. There's systems for the business, which we're still working on.
Yep.
And they need to be improved. But if it was to get to a really good point where I was happy with it, and I felt like I wanted to move on, I'd consider selling it.
Yeah.
Or if it could continue to operate with just my oversight, very sort of light oversight, then I'd consider keeping it for the long term and keeping it sort of as a cash flow. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It'd be good just as a cash flow if you only check the numbers like once a month or something, not even that, but you got sort of managers sort of taking care of that and stuff. But it's always good to have cash flow. I think that's the main part of it.
I agree.
But yeah, so fine, man. So from now, so what you're 19, we're talking when you're 19 and up like 20 now. So from 20, you're 22 now.
Yeah.
So from 20 to 21, that's when your brother came in and you guys started to implement.
Yeah, give or take something like that. Yeah,
something
we started
like
to
that.
implement the vans. We started to make some. So what happened is I actually left real estate.
Yeah.
After my,
Okay,
I forgot to add that actually.
Yeah.
I left real estate. To
What
focus
age?
on the business.
What age did you?
When my partner left.
Oh
the
shit,
business,
19.
I left real estate, which was a big decision and it threw a lot of people off because I was studying property.
Yeah.
Not real estate, but like property development. It's called property economics. It's a course. Not many people know what it is.
No, I've never heard of it.
So I was studying that. So you could say that real estate was in my field, right?
Yeah.
I left that to pursue my business.
Yeah.
And that was a very pivotal decision because it was one or the other. I was really getting exhausted. I was tied between the two, and I wasn't able to master either of them because I was spread myself too
You can
thin.
still do them both, like you said. The key word is that you wouldn't be able to master. You wouldn't be able to give the 100% to any of them. So you had to make that was like the deadline.
So I ended up average at both. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I wanted to be really good at something.
100%. So how did your family take that, knowing that look, there's a big risk. I'm not going to uni. I'm not studying anymore. I had to drop out and stuff. Was there any doubt with your family? Was there a bit of talk?
It was a bit of a lot of people were a bit.
Well, just in general, like your family, friends.
Yeah, everyone was a bit, taken back by it. They thought that, he's in real estate, and he's doing not too bad.
Too many people think safe, eh? Too many people think safe, eh?
I'm like completely opposite of safe.
Oh, you're like me, bro. Yeah. And not many people get it. Yeah. So obviously you had a bit of doubt and stuff like that. So you made a decision. Obviously paid off, like you were saying. So from there to now, from that crucial moment of making the decision, when did you start to realise that was a good decision to make? When did you start to say to yourself, like, fuck, you know what? I made the right decision in doing this. When was that time? When was that? Or you haven't hit that mark yet?
You know what? I really appreciate that I did that.
Yeah.
I have my days where I feel like I shouldn't have done that, but then.
Why is that?
I don't know, because I felt like I should have maybe. You get days where you feel like you should have followed the path into what I set out to do in the first place, which is property.
Yeah.
And I still have the intention to go back into property.
Yeah.
One day when I get the opportunity to.
Yeah. Well, if you look, perfect example. If you can get this to a point where it's managing itself.
Yeah.
You can go back to study full time.
100%.
And your cash flow.
I'm still studying.
Oh,
I left real estate with the work.
Oh, there you go. You know what I mean? It's a part time or full time.
Part time.
So what are you studying now then?
Property economics. Yeah.
Property. Oh,
what is it? It's property development.
Property development. It's just like what's that? What does that cover?
So for example, if when you see high-rise units.
Yep.
Yeah. Someone builds it.
Yeah.
Someone owns the property. Right?
Okay.
It doesn't necessarily have to be the builder.
No, yeah.
The person who owns the property and contracts a builder to build it, usually, he's the developer. The person who actually owns the property and selling the units.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah, he's the developer. That's what I'm studying.
So you're starting to be basically knock and build guy, and you're sort of building the properties up.
No, that's a builder.
That's a
I'm
builder.
contractor builder. So for example.
Oh, okay, yeah. So if I own the land,
Yeah.
and I need a developer,
Yeah.
I'll go to you, and then you organise that, and then you go from there.
So say you're a builder, right?
Yeah.
I go and buy a property.
Yeah.
It's zoned for high-rise units.
Yeah.
You're a builder. I say, Joe, can you come and build my block of units?
Yeah.
You build it. I pay you a fee for building it.
Yeah.
And then I go about selling them at the end to make my profit.
Oh, so I'm basically I'm just a builder, and you're I'll see
Developer. Developer. That's right.
Or I'll get in contact with you too because I sort of need you in the future, if you know what I mean. But
Yeah.
So from there, so Shisha now, so it's where it's at now. So I don't know nothing about it. That's why we should bring one in today because
Yeah.
I personally haven't had it before. I don't know what it's like.
We're gonna tee it up.
Yeah, we'll tee it up definitely. We'll run it back and we'll go from there. But so what is it like? So like, what makes you think that like, is it a trend now, or do you think it's going to die off, or what do you think about in the future? Where do you see that in say 10 years from now?
Yeah, it's a good question actually. I've really thought hard about it. In my opinion.
Because I'll give you a reason why I asked that. Yeah.
Okay. With that, I don't think it's a trend. I think that there is hype in it.
Yeah.
So it'll die back down to something that is still a manageable, sustainable level for the long term.
Yep.
At the level it's at now, I don't know. I think there is a chance that it could die down from the hype.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I know what you're saying.
But the thing is, it's cultural, and shisha's always been around in the Arabic culture.
Yeah.
So it's like, is cigarettes really going to go out of fashion?
Not really.
And smoke, like you could say, shisha is the equivalent of cigarettes in the Arabic world.
Yeah.
Because people who smoke shisha just smoke shisha, and they're usually not cigarette smokers. And cigarette smokers don't usually smoke shisha.
In saying that, but usually an Arab person, or wouldn't someone in your sort of like culture have their own shisha at home?
Yeah, usually they do.
Yeah, usually
they still order them because remember it goes back to convenience. Yeah.
Okay, so there's always functions, there's always something,
100%.
and there's always more people than.
There's always lazy people as well. They don't want to get up and clean their shisha and make the.
So what's the maintenance? I don't even know. So what's the maintenance bill? What do you have to do maintenance wise, if that makes sense?
Yeah. So for example, we've got the shishas there, right?
Yeah.
We hire them out.
Yeah.
All right. You call up, you order your shisha, like you're ordering a pizza. You choose your flavor, you choose the base and whatnot, right?
Yeah.
So there's a fruit, flavor goes in the fruit. We prepare it and we deliver it, right?
Yep.
So we deliver it to your doorstep. All right. Once you receive it, you use it that night. Once you're done with it, you leave it on the front porch. You don't need to be home for collection, and we just go around the next day.
Why is it just not there?
No, it's always there.
It's almost that.
Like if they left it inside, for example, if it got stolen.
It got stolen like at the front door.
That's why we don't deliver it in our drawer.
I guess I'm out of the picture now. I'm not imagining anyway. Bro, it's worse than Norman or Pat. Nah, I'm joking,
No, but to be honest with you, we delivered once to Mount Druitt.
Yeah.
And at one time it got stolen. I'm not joking. Once, that was enough for me.
Oh, yeah, I know what you mean. Oh, fucking Mount Druitt. Right, what are you guys doing, bro? No. Oh man, because I'm from Mount Druitt. Yeah. So I grew up in Mount Druitt, so I understand. So I was actually going to ask the question. So when you said you went to Strathfield, so when do you come to Mount Druitt?
We stop at Blacktown, man. That's our first. We stop there.
Oh, that's funny. No, that's good, man. Maybe anyone with an idea, just make sure you have insurance if you want to start a bit Mount Druitt. Just have insurance on your each shisha, whatever it is. But yeah, no, man. So you did do a delivery there. So do you do deliveries around these areas? Marsa Park, Kellyville?
We go to Kellyville, we stop there.
What can you do one for me, like say off the wall, like you know what I mean?
Only because you're my mate, yeah.
Oh, so perfect. I appreciate that. Oh, we'll sort it out. Appreciate that, bro. But yeah, man. So obviously we're talking about trend. The reason why I asked you to say that do you reckon it'll die down a bit is because obviously frozen yogurts were sort of a thing back in the day. If you remember, you would have been in high school at that time.
No, I do remember 100%.
Yeah, so I remember at that time. I think there was a period where it was good for like 2-3 years, and everyone was talking about these frozen yogurts, but. I don't know, I'll go past these shops, they're gone. Where they used to be in shopping centres, where they used to be around the corners and stuff, they're all gone, and that's what I was basically saying, forecasting ahead of you. Is it a trend, or have you calculated like where it's going to be in the future, where, like what we were talking about earlier, where is this a selling point, you get to a certain point, sell it, because then it's sort of like, you've got it at its peak, or do you still see potential where it's sort of, it'll sustain a sort of income, cash flow, where you won't go high, you won't go low, but it'll sort of be consistent in a certain area where you can sort of manage.
100%, yeah, that's such a great question. And it goes back to the fact that what I based my opinion on the fact that it's not going to die is because it's cultural.
Yeah.
And it has been around for a long time.
Yeah.
Like you can say, so shisha delivery, as I said, it's been around in Lebanon, for example.
Yep.
For a very long time.
Did they hire? Oh, they hire
They hire them in Lebanon as well.
Yeah.
Except like they bring them on scooters, and they bring the coal lit for you already.
Yeah, it's Lebanon, but
we don't do that either.
Nah. Well, why is it? Oh, you can't really.
Yeah,
Anyway,
it's Australia, right?
Yes. Yeah, I know what you're
Yeah,
saying.
it's not happening.
Like you on
On the way there.
On the way there. Someone in the back of the van.
No. Too much.
Nah, okay. So you obviously have a prediction of where you see this going forward. So what's next? Like what's next for the shisha business?
Yeah, there's more things that I want to implement.
Yeah.
One that's on the horizon for me. I'm really excited to do it actually. Is live tracking.
Live tracking your shishas.
Yeah, so like when it's on the way,
yeah,
you'll be able to see how far. It's sort of like Uber, same thing.
Yeah, same
with
thing.
Uber Eats. If your food's on the way, and it tells you how many minutes away, who your driver is, and whatnot.
Yeah. So you don't have that yet on your app?
I don't have that yet. No, you can order online, right?
Yeah.
But we haven't implemented live tracking yet. I've been wanting to do it for ages. It's just something that we put.
Is it a cost or is that the problem? Or
no, it's not the cost. It's just so for example, when I was operating out of home, I didn't want to do it because it was like you can see where it's coming from, sort of thing.
Yes. No, that's not. Yeah. No. There's nothing wrong with that. Yeah. 100%. Yeah.
I didn't feel comfortable doing it out of home, but like over the past year or so, or however long it's been, we've been out of home.
Yeah.
Then I just didn't get around to it.
Yeah.
I don't know why I haven't done it yet.
No, it's something you sort of got to get into anyway.
But
I like that how you got the idea of that privacy thing of like looking at the bigger picture of like you don't want to show people sort of where it's coming out of. I mean, if you have a shop down across the road where all the other Woolies are, it's easy to sort of like track that,
100%.
and that's where the business address is. So there's nothing wrong with that. But
Yeah.
I like that privacy sort of idea. That's smart. But yeah, so you want to put that live tracking on it. How do you go about ordering one, if that makes sense? You download the app, or like say if you're fresh, like someone like me. I don't have an idea, haven't never smoked it.
Say you stumble across our website or you found us on Instagram.
Yep.
We usually I really love to direct people to order online.
Yep.
It's the best way for us as well.
As a company.
Hey.
To keep track.
100%, yeah. And like it's just because you don't have to communicate with them while they're on the phone, and all the info's there, so you don't have to answer all of those frequent questions and things like that. And it explains the process if you're not sure. It's a one-stop. Everything's there on the website. Yeah. You can order online and it comes through to our system. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And how long's a hire period for?
Say you order it today, we'll pick it up tomorrow.
Oh, okay, so it's only for one night. One night.
Yeah.
And how much does it cost?
Between 45 and 55.
45, 55.
Including delivery.
Yeah, 45, 55. It's pretty decent.
Yeah. It's like if you sit down in a restaurant and have it.
Yeah.
It's the same, if not more.
Yeah. Because I got a night. Because one of my mates was talking about. This is what sort of approached me to your sort of lane. I was actually talking to you about earlier. One of my mates was talking about having a shisha around down in the Rellan way. So if you know where all the new estates go through, I don't know, Spring Farms, all that sort of area, like type thing, Mount Annan and all that. He was talking about opening up a shisha shop there. I said to him, I got no idea. I was like, yeah, man, do what you got to do, bro. But in saying that, do you see any, like obviously with your experience, do you see anything the downside to it, or do you like, because there's nothing there. Like I went past
that area, you're saying?
In that area, yeah. Would you say I don't, and it's too multicultural. And me personally, I thought it's because like you said, you're based around Parramatta and stuff. A lot of Arabs, a lot of people, that's their culture thing.
Yeah.
If you go to, I feel like if it's an industry you're sort of tapping into, it could be a good thing, it could be not. I wouldn't know. But what's the chance of those type of areas? Have you looked into that yourself? Like
look, I can tell because I know where we get calls from, for example.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Where the demand's coming from.
Yeah.
Like even if we don't deliver there, we still get calls for those areas, right?
Yeah.
And like I wouldn't be too confident setting up a shop in that area.
So
because the reason why I say that is like our business anyway, we work off areas where there's a high density of Arabs, for example.
Yep.
You need a high density of them in as close together as you can.
Yep.
For it to be as efficient and profitable as possible.
Yeah.
Right. So if you were to do in those areas, I don't think there's a very high density of people in general because it's
still a developing area.
Isn't it? It's a developing area. There's less people.
Yeah.
And also like out of those fewer people,
you
need to find Arabs and stuff that are going to be able to come to you and come back consistently.
Because I think it was basing off because there was a couple of like chicken, the chocolate chicken shops and all the Arabs are eating and stuff. It's always packed, but I noticed like when I'm looking at their person, I'm looking at it. It's not packed with Arabs. It's packed with different nationalities, which is good. Like everyone's trying different cultures food, but implementing something was sort of traditional, like tradition. That's where we talked about where that will be your base. Like that's sort of your. I don't want to say it in a sad way, but probably your cash flow, if that makes sense. Like you can lose all certain people, but then if you've got your sort of culture is still doing it, that sort of keeps you afloat, if that makes sense.
100%.
So your advice is basically look into it a bit more. Look at the demographic, if that's what you're saying.
It's
Like,
very important.
yeah, the demographic.
Or choose a better area.
Choose a better area.
So yeah.
Would you try the northern beaches, or I think would you try the northern beaches or anything like
There's
that?
potential.
There's potential there.
We don't deliver to like northern beaches and whatnot.
Yeah.
I just at the moment I'm concentrating on the areas that we do, doing them as efficient as possible.
Yeah. And so what do you say? Obviously, we're talking about where do you want to see it, and you're talking about either you're selling or you keep it or whatever. Where do you see this in 5 years from now?
In 5 years from
Have
now.
you predicted that, or you haven't gone so far?
Yeah,
so
look,
far
5 years from now, we'd have to cover. So the other areas that I'd cover, would be Liverpool area.
Oh, so I thought you did that now.
We don't do Liverpool.
Whoa,
Yeah.
that's a
Wow.
big.
Here's the thing, you know how you're talking about that whole area, that's all near Campbelltown. Campbelltown actually has a fair amount of Arabs there, and guess where they all go to get shisha?
Where?
Liverpool.
Yeah.
Oh,
They
okay.
track
It's a
it
big
to
market in
Liverpool,
Liverpool, but
But Bankstown, wouldn't that cover Liverpool ways?
no. So Bankstown's in the Strathfield radius, but we don't go to Liverpool. It's the next one on my list.
Yeah, I was about to say, I thought Liverpool would just be a giveaway. Like that's.
I don't want to do Liverpool.
You don't want to do Liverpool? Was that? Was it a competition or?
No, I don't think there's much there, to be honest.
No, it's there. That's what they are. Isn't it Arab City or there? Or?
Nah, it's mostly Yugoslavians.
Really?
Really?
I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
So you're talking about Europeans. Oh, okay. It was actually good what we were talking about though. So from here on, you want to touch into Liverpool within the next 5 years? Is that what the plan is?
Yeah,
Or within the next couple of months?
No, maybe not the next couple of months.
Yeah.
But say within a year or so.
Have you seen any upward competition coming through? Have you?
There's some competition.
Oh, there is competition. Competition is good, but
Yeah,
I
tough.
always thrive with competition because that's if you're by yourself. Think about it, if you're in an industry by yourself and you're the only one there, like it's not enjoyable. Like it is enjoyable, obviously, but like it's not challenging if that makes sense. Like say like, it doesn't make you better if that makes you can sort of get complacent. Or for me personally,
Yeah,
I can
would,
get complacent because I'm like, oh yeah, there's nothing to face today. I'll just go about it. But obviously having competition, that sort of brings another element in the sense of quality. Like if this guy's doing something better, what is he doing different for him to sort of get that part? And then I'm like, oh shit, I can implement that idea and sort of change it up a bit. So that's why I'm talking about competition is always good. Have you come across your competition or?
Yeah. So the person who's sort of very close to me, like you could say we don't.
Oh, don't say it's funny. Like someone you knew, you saw the idea, and he
No,
Oh.
it's not. It's not. This one, so my company and one other company,
Yeah.
take up most of the market share, right?
Okay. Yeah.
I'm good mates with the person who owns the other company.
Yeah.
Like we're really good mates. We hang out a lot. We've actually like through work we ended up good friends somehow. I can't even remember.
Did he start at the same time as you, or?
No, they were after us.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. As I said, when we started, there was one or two. Those one or two when we started, they don't exist anymore.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think like when it came to improving and doing it better, I think we did do it better than those other ones at the beginning.
Yeah.
Once we started and took it to that level, then people started to sort of our concept very easy to replicate. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So then people started to sort of try to replicate it, which happened a lot actually.
Okay.
A lot of people tried to replicate what we were doing, go down the same route, use the same methods, which is fine. It's not an issue.
Yep.
Didn't harm us in any way. But yeah, so in terms of competition, the person who would be my biggest competition, I'm actually good friends with, and you know what?
And you know what? Business helps business. End of the day.
We actually work together. Like in some sense, we help each other out. If I'm too busy in an area, and I can't handle the capacity, I offload to him, he offloads to me.
Yeah.
If we're facing issues, like business wise or whatever, we talk to each other about it.
Yeah.
And you know what? There's enough for both of us to eat. You know what I mean? So,
I like to hear that story because that's the same thing sort of where I try to influence my mates and stuff like that. I say like, end of the day, business helps business. It's not about like, me get mine and, just hide this from that person because that's not how you do business. I notice if you're starting to help people a lot too, you're sort of helping yourself more than actually, like you talking about like if you're offloading work because it's high demand, he's giving it back. It sort of works both ways, but it's also networking. It's opportunity.
oh, definitely.
You know what I mean? It's definitely opportunity what you're sort of creating within each other. Like
That's
you can't do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree.
So that's something good. And you're definitely young, man. It doesn't even sound like you're 22 years old, bro. I'll tell you that now. Like personally, sound like you're sort of like this kind of conversation we had with my mates, and we're like 30. You know what I mean? We're in our 30s, but yeah, man. So like you never read no book, no self-help thing.
No, I have. I do.
Oh, you have? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, 100%. I read now a lot more than I used to.
Yeah. You read or just audio books?
No, I read. I like to read.
You like to read? Yeah, physically.
I like to read or listen to podcasts. I haven't done Audible.
Well, the Go podcast is on YouTube, so anytime you want to listen to it, bro, go for it. Yeah, you listen to this one if you want. So yeah, so what books have you read?
I've read, so when I started, the one that I talked to you about systemizing the business and whatnot.
Yeah.
That was that was like probably 2-3 weeks before we opened the business.
Yep.
I read a book by, have you heard of Jack DeLosa?
No.
It's if you look him up, you know he's pretty well known in the business world.
Yep.
And he does like sort of coaching courses and things like that now.
Okay.
But yeah, he's had a few successful businesses and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
He's got a book called Unprofessional.
Yeah.
And it's about when you're starting out in business, and it really provided a lot of clarity for the direction I wanted to take the business.
Yep.
And it spoke a lot about what your goal should be to either build it up and sell it. And if your goal is to build it up and sell it,
Yep.
then you need to have systems in place. You need to have
A blueprint.
blueprint, and also like a blueprint for your staff to do their job without needing to call you and ask you, hey, how do I do this?
Yeah.
And the answer for them always needs to be there.
Like, I think I need to implement that in some sort of business, but yeah, that it's hard. But okay, that's another thing I was just tap in. So obviously you got people working under you and you know under your direction. So do you find that challenging at times, or is it quite easy? If that makes
No, it's always challenging. But, because
has guys ever caught up sick on the last minute and just go, look, I can't make it. And
look, it happens, but I'm not the type to tolerate it.
yeah,
I can be a bit strict sometimes.
good man.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
can be a bit strict.
I will tell you what I do, but we won't get into that. No. So when people don't rock up to work, bro, they don't know what happens. Nah, but yeah. So obviously, you say you're dealing with more people. So have you ever had problems with customers?
Yeah, we have problems with customers. Like
So what type of problems you come across that?
To be honest, I think we have a very low complaint rate.
Yeah.
I'm not just saying that, but like we actually have a very low complaint rate.
That's on Google. That's on the 5-star rating. And
Yeah,
all.
100%.
So check it out, guys.
Check it out, 100%. We have a bad rating, honestly.
Yeah, no, it's good. Like, yeah.
100%. Look, as you grow, you get, because you're doing higher volume, you
Yeah.
end up with a couple complaints and whatnot.
Yeah.
Look, we get obviously complaints, but I think the thing that we're best at is if you do have an issue, we always fix it.
So rectification's always.
If you have an issue, and it does happen because we're not robots making it, it's humans, and there's always going to be mistakes.
So what's an example of a mistake?
Like for example, if the customer for some reason thought that they didn't enjoy the shisha, or it wasn't nice,
Yeah.
or it's not smoking properly, or whatever, there's an issue with it.
Yeah.
All right. We go back and fix it, or like it's not like we necessarily fix it. We take the head, we take the shisha, and we give them a completely new one.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Do you set
Make
it up
sure
for
it's
them,
right.
or?
Like so, when we deliver it, we don't light the coal and set it up.
Yeah, but
It comes ready to go, alright? So
Yeah.
like basically you need to put water in the glass.
Yeah.
Alright, and it needs to obviously be clean. You get a brand new hose.
Yeah.
Which is disposable, so when you're done you just throw it out.
Yeah.
And you have the fruit with the flavour on top.
Okay.
Ready to go. So when it gets delivered to you,
Yeah.
you light your coal,
Yeah.
you put the hot coal on top and you smoke, it's done.
And it's done.
Yeah,
That's how
100%.
easy.
Yeah. So when we go to replace it,
Yeah.
we take the old one back. Alright. We usually check to see what was wrong with it.
Yeah.
Regardless, we still give them a complete new replacement. And yeah, that's usually always case solved.
Okay.
Just replace it, and we'll never back down on that. If there's an issue, we don't ask questions.
Yeah. Is there any this is another question too. Do you have to meet any safety guidelines or anything like that? You know, obviously in a restaurant you have certain guidelines where you sort of have to meet some standards. In this shisha business, obviously, because it's an oral act, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's sort of is there any guidelines you have to meet and any certificates you sort of have to meet?
You mean like hygiene wise?
Hygiene wise, yes.
Look, the industry is not very regulated. Because
Yeah, that's what I thought. Is it regulated?
Not so prevalent, like,
yeah. Not,
you see how you don't know much about it from the outside?
Yeah.
It's not really too exposed, I guess.
Yeah.
But like one thing that we've never sent out a dirty shisha for example. When it comes back, it always gets cleaned. It will never get sent out dirty, 100%. Like we have a very thorough cleaning process. Like we've actually always been really good at that.
So basically, you don't need no regulation, no nothing.
There's not really because you know the thing is that they're enjoying it in their own home.
Yeah.
So they're not in a public space.
Well, if there ever comes a regulation and the government gets on it, well, you can tell them they can fuck off. But yeah, because I hate the government. But yeah, no. But yeah, you know what I mean. Like, it's gone sweet now, so obviously there's no need for that, and yeah, don't even get any of these guys. But you know what I mean? Like, what's the point of regulating something what's already working?
No, like, so shisha is not illegal, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can have it. Like, so just like you can serve it in a restaurant, you can serve it at someone's house.
Oh, okay. Simple as that.
If anything, it's probably more legal serving it at their house.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah,
because you're not smoking with food and things like that.
Exactly.
Like, you don't face those regulations.
Yeah. So with these restaurants we're having and stuff like that, do you leave it to them or do they have their own?
We deliver to some.
Oh,
But
okay.
generally, they have their own. If they do it in house and they really want to push
Yeah.
it, they do it. We've worked with a lot of restaurants though.
I think it's a good idea to get these chicken shops or whatever, or these
Yeah.
like Eljan say, even if have you emailed them and said, look, we've got this business, we can send it to you if you guys want to have it, on Friday, Saturday, Sunday night. Have you implemented? Have you had a system, or have you come up with any ideas of hitting restaurants like who don't have it? Obviously, some restaurants
We've done
don't
it.
have
Yeah, we've done
Oh,
it.
you've already done that in the
To be
past.
honest, so when I've done it in the past, I don't think it's something that you really got to slog away at. So it's like starting a new business.
Yeah.
You've got to attract people there and tell them that it's there.
Yeah, okay.
You want-
I mean, like what I'm saying is that so a chicken shop here what doesn't
Yeah.
have shisha,
Okay.
they sell Lebanese chicken or whatever, like
Yeah.
charcoal chicken, and then if you give them a call and go, hey, look, on Friday, Saturday, Sunday night, if you got customers in there, you want to just hire 3 or 4 of them, and then you can offer that on your menu plus the chicken they serve,
Yeah.
and you just send them a fee. Have you guys come up with that sort of idea?
We've done it before.
Or you don't, and then what, the risk is not worth the reward type thing? Or?
No, it's fine usually, but it's not a huge element of our business.
Oh, it's not a huge, so you don't get that much chunk
It's
out.
not much volume, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Do
okay.
you know what's better volume for us is backyard parties, events. And
Yeah, but wouldn't you worry for that in sense of like people get drunk, people do stupid things?
No, it's fine. If they
It's
break
fine.
it, they just pay for it.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
you're making sure you have that implemented into it.
Yeah.
So, has you ever come across one?
Yeah, they break. They do break.
Besides the one who got stolen in Mount Jewett.
Yeah, no, that one we didn't get paid for that one.
I can't believe that, bro. You never do that again, eh?
Nah, it's alright.
But free, man.
In the
So,
future.
I just had to laugh at that one, but no. So yeah, so have you had so with your outlay and stuff like that? So do you own all the shishas, or are you?
No, we own them all.
You
Yeah.
own them all.
Yeah.
So what? So you bought them from shop, like you got them made from?
No, so they import them from Egypt.
Egypt.
And I just buy them from the importer.
Yeah. So are you do you know the history for shisha? Because I was having these debates with these guys who were cutting my hair, they're Lebanese and
Yeah,
stuff like that.
they
Hus,
say-
I know, shout out to Hus, we were talking about the other day. But one of them, they always reckon it's Lebanon. Obviously, Lebanese will say the Lebanese created everything, they, But do you know the history behind it? Like,
Wasn't Lebos that started it.
is it Egyptians?
I think I'm pretty sure from what I know it's Turks.
The Turks.
I think so. Yeah, Turkish people.
It's always it was
Pretty
always
sure.
because we were debating about that, saying it was one was saying it was Egyptians, the others were saying it was Lebanese, but obviously Lebanese were saying it's Lebanese. But
Yeah, no, it's not Lebanese though.
It's not Lebanese.
100%. I know that.
I want to know where they're.
I just know that the majority of the shisha brands that we have here is Egyptian.
That's
Khalil
true.
Mamoun.
Yeah, that's the one that we use, and that's
Yeah.
Egyptian. I
Okay.
don't think it might have. It's either Egypt or Turkey. It's one of the two. It could be Egypt, but
Yeah.
it's actually debatable. No one actually knows.
No one actually knows.
Yeah, so it's
If
just.
they're actually Egyptian, they'll say it's Egyptian. If they're actually Turkish, they'll say it's
I think
Turkish.
so. Yeah.
So when did all this like what's so good about it? Like on personally, I don't know. Like
Oh, you don't know?
I don't because I've never done it before. I will be hiring one. Don't worry about that. I'll
It
be.
tastes nice.
It's the taste.
It's a
Because
taste.
it's not so I don't smoke at
Yeah,
all,
it's not. So cigarette, you're smoking like
and it makes me
straight
cough.
tobacco,
Yeah.
and you don't enjoy the taste of a cigarette, right?
No, no.
What if a cigarette tasted like a lolly or a fruit?
Okay.
Smoke it? Have you had a vape?
No, never.
You haven't had a vape?
No.
You smell a vape.
I sort of vape. They smell nice.
They
yes.
smell nice?
Yes.
It's like a shisha.
Oh, okay.
Same thing, it's flavoured smoke. So
And
you don't get like a tobacco taste.
What's it do? Any damage to your lungs or anything, or everything does damage
It's
to your lungs?
debatable, but I'm telling you, I have my own theory on this.
what's the theory?
So
Tell us.
normally people
Is there,
think that
is there any scientifically proven connection, or is it just
Bro
bro science? Bro science. I love bro science.
No, this is like
Story of my life.
bro science with facts. You know what I mean?
Bro science with facts.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what do you reckon?
See, people say that cigarettes is better for you, or shisha is worse for you than cigarettes.
Yes, I heard that before.
Yeah, or they say like it's equivalent to something like 50 cigarettes.
Yep.
It's the biggest load of shit I've ever heard.
Why?
I'll tell you why. Because so when they like what they base that on is there's a World Health Organization study,
Yep.
and they say so 1 hour session of shisha is equivalent to 50 cigarettes or something like that.
Yeah.
And then it also says that it's only solely based on the volume of smoke produced. So it's like if I blow smoke from a cigarette, the amount of smoke is less. If you were to
Yes.
capture it in like a box, for example,
Yeah.
after an hour of shisha, it's going to be equivalent to 50 cigarettes, which is
Yeah.
like no brainer.
Yeah.
Same thing with vape, but it's not on the harmfulness of it.
Yeah.
And that's the misconception. You know what I mean?
You don't have any rat poison or that toxic stuff they put in cigarettes. It's
That's
not in
right.
shisha.
Yeah. So with shisha, it's a tobacco product, right? But it's a washed tobacco, which is like it's prepared differently to how they prepare cigarettes. But what's really bad for you in cigarettes and what builds up in your lungs is tar, right?
Yep.
So shisha tobacco doesn't actually have any tar in it, which is like a big difference, you know, like in terms of what builds up in your lungs and the health of your lungs and whatnot.
Yeah.
Not having tars makes a big difference. I think one cigarette has about 10,000 chemicals in it.
Yeah.
The shisha flavor has about 300, which is still like 300, but significantly less than a cigarette, right?
Yeah.
So 300 compared to 10,000 chemicals.
Yeah.
And there's a lesser amount of nicotine in shisha than there is in a cigarette.
Yeah, so
Right.
it's basically you're dealing with something in a small portion, like
Yeah,
way smaller.
exactly. Way
It's
smaller.
just
So the
like-
smoke itself.
Even
is
tells
actually
you on the
small.
box. Even tells you on the box how much nicotine it has.
So it's got 0.05 milligrams
Yeah.
in that 1 hour session, for example. Whereas a cigarette, I think like for example, Winnie Golds are like, I don't know, 12 milligrams or 10 milligrams.
Okay, so and that's just one cigarette.
Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
So there's significantly less in.
Oh, for
shisha.
sure. So you definitely do not as much damage.
I smoke every day, like 3 times a day.
You
Shisha.
smoke? Oh, shisha. I was about
Yeah.
to say cigarettes. Have
Yeah.
you smoked cigarettes?
Yeah, as well.
Do you smoke cigarettes? Oh.
Sometimes I'm on and off.
On and
I'm
off?
on at the moment.
Only when you drink.
No, I'm on
No.
at the moment.
You're on at the moment.
Yeah, I don't know why, but it just
Oh.
happens. I swear.
What
I
happened?
smoked when I was younger and it
That's-
just came back. I don't know.
Disgusting habit, isn't
Yeah,
it?
it's disgusting.
When did you start smoking cigarettes?
First started smoking cigarettes when I would have been like 16, 15.
16, 15. Well, make sure your mum doesn't watch this.
That's alright, she smelled on my clothes.
Oh, yeah, sharp. Did you
No,
get
but you had do you know the Lynx Africa?
Lisa Africa. Man, that was our primary school
In the
days,
bum
bro.
bag, bro, in the bum bag.
In the bum bag. Oh, were you allowed to carry bum bags at your school? Obviously, what,
Oh,
Morris?
no, at school, yeah, like, no, you couldn't carry bum
Yeah,
bag. I think.
you guys are pretty. I think Morris now's an elective now.
Is it?
Yeah, bro, I think so. Well, I went to
I
Paddy's.
stopped going there in like year 9, halfway through year 9.
Halfway.
You go Paddy's?
Yeah, from Blacktown.
Oh, no
Me and
way.
this guy.
Yeah,
Blacktown.
there you go.
Paddy's, bro.
That's
Oh no,
right.
you went to Loyola, right?
Yeah.
So you went to Mount York where you don't deliver.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we go to Paddy's, that's right.
Yeah, Paddy's is good.
That's
Do you guys ever come across? Do you know anyone from Paddy's? Oh, you're way younger, man. Like,
Oh, I can't really remember, eh? I would have, because I used to play footy and stuff.
yeah.
So through footy, yeah, I would have known a couple of boys.
Was that school known with you guys? Like, did you like Blacktown Patrician Rolls? Did you like?
Yeah, we used to verse them in footy. They're like the biggest rival.
Oh no way.
Blacktown Paddy's.
Yeah, was
That's
that?
footy, bro.
Yeah.
You were heaps good.
Yeah, oh, we still are.
Yeah, every grade.
I always will be.
Wow.
Right, no one wanted to verse Blacktown Paddy's.
Yeah.
No one wanted to.
Wow.
1 hour already. Fuck. Man, hey, we gotta run it back, bro. We gotta definitely do this again sometime,
No
bro.
problem.
But yeah, man, like it's good to have you on, bro. And also like it's an hour now. Fucking man, if you want to keep going, we'll just keep talking, bro. We'll just
Easy.
yeah, we'll just keep talking shit, bro. So yeah, so you obviously finished school, you wrapped it up. So are you gonna take? Do you see this as like definitely something to do for the next 20 years, or do you see this as you got to sort of get into the developing squad, like the developer?
Yeah, probably developer.
Probably developer.
Probably developer.
Yeah,
Yeah, I've got much more of a passion for that. You know what I mean?
you got more of a passion for that.
100%. Yeah. Look,
Yeah.
the issue that I faced with shisha is that I couldn't find because I started when I was young. We would have at the beginning we were chasing money more so than anything.
Yeah.
Or like a successful business.
Yeah.
But your priorities change over time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you want to do something that you really enjoy a bit more. So that's what's drawing me to the property side of things.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'd love to get back into property.
It just amazes me that even the own Arabs like I thought that it's just normal for an Arab to always have shisha, like a shisha in the house. You know what I mean? I just thought it was just I don't know, like I just thought it was a thing. But it's hearing like you said, convenience is always plays a part. Like me, I always Uber Eats everything.
Yeah.
You know, because
Uber Eats,
I get late. Sorry.
Does that Uber Eats here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Come on, bro.
Come on, man.
Come on, bro. Look
How
at
does
this.
it sound?
Look at here under the sticks bus. Look at it, bro. Look at it's beautiful out
There's a
there.
lot here now, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, there is. There back in the day, bro. This was like pig farms and all the chicken
Crazy,
farms
yeah,
and
it's
shit. Yeah.
quite simply.
And a lot of Italians actually own these areas, like Italians, like,
Maltese as well. I think.
Maltese, yes,
Yeah.
around these Quakers Hill around all here and stuff like
Yeah.
that. But yeah, man, like I wish I was buying property back then. They'll be living life now.
No way in 10 years you'll say, you know what, I'm grateful I bought property.
Oh yeah, you know, but I definitely don't want to live here in 10
Yeah.
years from now. I definitely want to be going more north, Jurul,
Yeah.
Jurul, definitely, bro.
Properties
Oh,
there.
bro,
We live in a Jurul sometimes.
do ya?
Wait,
Bro, I say this now. If I'm in Jurul, bro, I'll be definitely hitting you up
there's
for some
some
shit.
really nice houses in Jurul.
Oh, bro, you got a house here, then you got another house to the K-Lo. That's the goal, bro.
I like those one level, really massive 4-space houses.
Yeah.
Like big mansions, but just one level.
No, I want. I don't care if it's 2 because I'll have a lift.
Yeah.
I'll have it in my mate. If you can live out there, surely you can afford a freaking $10,000
They do what you
lift.
like. I don't know, that's just the style that they do it.
Yeah. So whereabouts are you from anyway? What areas you?
Like right next to Para.
Oh, you live right near Para.
Yeah.
Oh man, what's Para? That's like more Marylands, isn't it?
Next to it. Yeah.
Yeah. How's that area? How's that growing up around that area?
Yeah, not too bad.
Not much struggle there, is there?
Nah, it's pretty, we've got a good
No, that's good, but I like
They
that.
have a good, like good schools, things like that.
Yeah. What's the lifestyle there like? Not, is there much difference from here to there, you reckon?
What like in what sense though?
In sense of like, I know people are doing things outside more. Like, is there more people inside there and keeping to themselves, or are there people more outside?
Nah, you get all of it.
You get a bit
There's
of
some bad areas too.
Yeah.
Not bad, like the good areas are still, the bad areas are still good, sorry.
Yeah.
But you get.
What are the bad areas around that area? Like, I don't think there's anything that bad.
No, it's not really bad areas,
Granville?
but like, like
Yeah.
Granville for example. Not really a bad area, just like there'd be more trouble in those areas actually.
Yeah, yeah.
That's probably the better way to put it.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
otherwise, like, still very livable places. Like, it's not like you're in the Bronx or something.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know what I mean? Like, there's no issue, but like, you get your bad apples. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, I know what you're saying.
That's all it is. Yeah.
And obviously you got the train station there.
Yeah.
You got, there's certain schools there, I guess. That's what sort of brings the sort of tension.
We used to hang out in Grenville when we were younger a lot.
Yeah? Were you allowed to, but because you're Lebanese, I thought you had to go home.
Nah, I did like we didn't
I
go.
thought, I don't know, I thought every Lebanese I know they have to go straight home. Like, it wasn't
We got up to whatever mischief we wanted.
Oh, yeah, but your parents want to know about
I
it.
was at my mate's house every time.
Your mum, dad, or mum, mates at 2 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
I'm only 16 years old smoking cigarettes.
Yeah, literally.
Nah, man, but yeah, we'll definitely run it back. But I appreciate you doing this too, bro. Coming through
Thanks for
and
having me on, man.
no, thank you. Thank you to hear your story and see how you come from. And honestly, man, like, you definitely sound smarter than you definitely sound like you're above your age, if that makes sense. You definitely got a lot of experience under your belt. And look, from what you know now, bro, like I can say personally, like you definitely got to go forward from here. And all the older stuff you learn from now, like for your business or whatever it is, it's definitely going to help you with your property development and stuff like that. All the skills and techniques you learn now, that's all experience. You can't you can't pay for that. So that's definitely got to play dividends on the other end of
Yeah,
what
I
you want to do.
appreciate that.
No, I appreciate you, bro. So thanks for coming in, and we'll run it back next time. If you want to tell people where you can find your shisha business and
Yeah,
stuff like that.
so find us on Instagram. It's the best place. So Chiefshisha.
Chiefshisha.
Yeah,
Is that your personal account, or is there something?
No, I've got a personal account separate.
Okay,
so
well,
Chiefshisha is CHIEF
Yep.
SHISHA. If I misspells Chief, it's CHIEF.
Okay, and then that's where they can find. You got a website you want to sort of put out
Yeah,
there?
www.chiefshisha.com.au, but links in the Instagram bio anyway.
Oh,
So if you go
okay.
to the Instagram, everything from there.
Oh, sweet. Then I'll definitely find that page. I haven't got that page yet, so
Yeah, that's
I'm
right.
going to order one for tonight too. So can you get one delivered
I'll
now?
sort that for you, don't stress.
Super. Matthew, appreciate it. We're going to do it again, but for sure. Thanks for coming through on
Thanks
short
for
notice,
having
bro.
me,
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
All right, Joe. Thank you. That was good, bro.
Legend, bro.
I appreciate that, man.
No worries.
But yeah, bro. So what's it now like? Are you hungry?